Friday Evening Meditation, March 5th, 1982. LL Research channeling Hatonn and Latwii. Unknown channeling. I am Hatonn. I greet you, my brothers and sisters, in the love and light of the infinite Creator. My friends, as always, it is a great pleasure to be amongst you once again, to be able to share with you our thoughts, our advice, imperfect though it may be. It is a great service to us on your part to allow us to attempt service in return. My friends, tonight we would share with you a small story concerning a lamb which had strayed from the flock, from its mother, from the shepherd whose efforts to ensure the lamb's safety within the flock were circumvented by the lamb's curiosity. You see, my friends, the lamb, realizing that among the flock there was simply retracing the steps already covered by those around it, chose to wander further and further toward the edge of the flock, seeking experience beyond what could be and often was narrated by its elders. Eventually, as the lamb progressed toward the edge of the flock, the lamb began to notice that those around seemed to be somewhat different than those at the core. They were sheep, it was true, but they were of a more unencumbered nature. Their seeking for the close shoulder-to-shoulder relationship that sheep seem to enjoy was less prevalent, and often one would stop, snatch a bite, look about a moment, and have to gallop to regain the safety of the flock. Indeed, those at the perimeter were a different breed of sheep. But the lamb was not satisfied with a mere change of scenery, so to speak, and upon reaching the edge of the flock, chose to continue beyond the flock, beyond the shepherd, beyond all of that which was known and familiar. Gradually, the sound of the flock diminished, and the lamb was alone, having abandoned its past. Perhaps at this point, one would assume that the lamb should be afraid, for it's well known that the earth contains those which would prey upon one another, or upon the innocent, upon those which would try and extend themselves beyond the edge of the flock. Yet, the lamb, possessing the wise naivete of the fool, was not troubled, for the lamb simply sought to know. My friends, at this point in your minds, we find the question concerning the eventual conclusion of our story. We wonder what happened to the lamb. My friends, the lamb is still wandering further and further from the crowded security it left behind, where the decisions are made by caretakers. My friends, the lambs within your souls seek only to learn, and it is that craving for knowledge, for new experiences with which to grow, that has brought you here this night. There is a meekness in knowledge, my friends, for an early and constant lesson upon that path is the awareness that one's knowledge is sorely lacking. The path extends ever onward to that knowledge that is without end. One might ask, to what purpose do we wander that path if there is no reward at the end, no pot of gold at the terminus of our rainbow? Why should we leave the flock? Is it not safer within the confinement of the crowd? are we not protected from those that would prey upon us? My friends, you are wanderers of the path, and to do other than that would betray your real nature. Accept this in yourselves, and be not afraid, for though the predators exist, so also does that force within your world that knows of each bird in flight, of each tree desiring to bloom, of each flower striving through the soil toward the sun. My friends, follow your path consciously and joyfully, and if you find other lambs upon your path, be grateful for the God that walks beside you. For each of you, my friends, is of the Creator, is a facet, a particle of that which you call God. And each of you follow that path which guides you back to your Creator self, my friends. At this time, our brothers and sisters of Latwii desire to offer to assist you in your meditation. If those of you desiring this service would simply relax and, within your minds, offer a request for the vibrations of our brothers and sisters of Latwii, they will pass among you and be honored to perform their service. I am Hatonn. Unknown channeling. I am Latwii, and we greet you, our brothers and sisters, in the love and light of the infinite Creator. My friends, it is with great honor that we take credit for the work performed by our brothers of Lightos. However, we would remind this instrument that although our names are similar, our functions are somewhat different, and that the vibrations imparted by our brother Lightos are much more effectively administered if the instrument would concentrate more fully and get our names correctly. Now then, we are, of course, present to perform our unworthy service of attempting to answer your questions. This is a role we enjoy, because not only are we afforded the opportunity of sharing conversation with yourselves, whom we find much more lively than some of our more overly serious brothers and sisters of other densities, but also we receive the opportunity of learning through the verbal interchange. So, without further ado, we would offer ourselves for this service. Are there any questions which we may undertake to answer tonight? Questioner. Inaudible. Latwii. I am Latwii. My brother, we would say the pun that no light can be shed, since all of creation sheds its own light. However, we would attempt to answer your question in this fashion. There are a number of Federation members whose services are very specific in that they receive the honor of being assigned to working with specific individuals or very small groups of individuals, some of those being on your planet. A number of these Federation members are involved in working on your planet. Some of those are the group you mentioned. May we answer further? Questioner. Inaudible. Latwii. I am Latwii. My brother, we are somewhat at a loss to respond to your question, in that we would humbly suggest it was somewhat vaguely phrased, and we are reluctant to offer unrequested information. Would it be possible to more accurately phrase your question? Questioner. Inaudible. Latwii. I am Latwii. I am aware of your question. My brother, a difficulty encountered in the contacts which you refer to as kindling are that the instruments have certain biases that open the instrument to confusion of communication or the interjection of inaccurate material by entities who would seek to confuse or disrupt the message being conveyed. It is not on our agenda, so to speak, to conduct any landings at this time. The process which you described as energy rings is unfamiliar to us in the context with which your question was posed. We would offer the suggestion that perhaps the communication was misunderstood. May we answer you further? Questioner. Inaudible. Latwii. I am Latwii. My brother, your perception is excellent. We would, as a friend, also remind you that we ourselves, being less than infallible, should also be taken with a grain of salt, to use your phrase. Our intention is to be of service, but we desire to perform the service of a loving advisor, not as an oracle which would accurately define your future for you, or save you the difficulty of performing your own learning. May we answer you further? Questioner. Inaudible. Latwii. As always, my brother, we thank you. Is there another question? I am Latwii. We of Latwii are aware that there are questions of a more personal nature, as this instrument would say, which some present would desire answered, but are hesitant to verbalize. It is our desire to be of service. However, it is not our desire to force the issue. At this time, we would once more offer ourselves as willing to attempt to respond to any questions which you may desire to verbalize. S. I did have another question. Editor's note. Mostly inaudible. There was an analogy made between a book having to do with a being called the Watcher and the Guardians. Latwii. I am Latwii. My brother, we sincerely and deeply wish that we could answer your question, for questions like that are to an extent objects of our own learning process. The guardians, to us, are primarily an unknown. They are entities which perform the service to us of assisting in our learning experience, and, as you may surmise, are at this time beyond our intellectual grasp. We would suggest, however, that the image which you interpret as the guardians, or as you refer to it, as the Watcher, is one that is prevalent within the subconscious mind of your gradually developing social memory complex. It is an archetypical concept which stems from a subconscious awareness that each of us, as the Creator, stands in a position of the overseer of creation, an overseer who would find it possible to alter facets of the illusion within which the individual learns its lessons, but realizes that to do so would be improper. A comparable term to your Watcher might be the expression Oversoul or higher self. May we answer you further? S. Inaudible. Latwii. I am Latwii. My brother, the guardians are entities who are far more fully self-realized than our humble selves, and therefore are beyond our current conscious understanding. we would suggest to you that quite often your own understandings or interpretation of our advice stems from your subconscious, and the process of subsequent meditation upon the subjects of your interest would be quite beneficial to a more full understanding. May we answer you further? S. No, thank you. Latwii. Again, we thank you, my brother. Is there another question? A. Inaudible. Latwii. I am Latwii. My sister, we thank you for the opportunity to attempt to answer your questions, for we know the difficulty that your striving has encountered lately. To borrow an expression from this instrument, we would remind you that life is but a dream. It is possible within your illusion to exist within a very unconscious state that is sadly characteristic of a substantial number of your race. This state of existence, my sister, is analogous to the type of dreams within which a certain amount of entertainment is derived, similar to that produced from your video communication devices. And we would advise that one not take this type of dream too seriously, for its purpose is simply to entertain the mind as you sleep. There are other types of dreams, however, just as there are other manners in which one may function consciously within the illusion within which you exist. For example, in a group such as this, there are individuals who attempt to be conscious of the manner within which they perform their daily tasks, seeking both polarization and catalysts that they may advance upon the path of learning and polarization. These types of lives are analogous to those types of dreams within which specific types of work are performed under the direction of the higher self, seeking to provide growth at the request of that portion of the mind-body-spirit complex, which you might refer to as the conscious mind, or the striving. Other dreams also perform service to the individual, such as those dreams within which a catalyst may be provided, such as communication from entities, such as Federation members, resulting from a calling within the individual that the individual may not be quite conscious of, but nonetheless is communicating. These dreams, being of a semi-conscious point of origin, are in themselves fully remembered, and often possess a very vague and indistinct memory trace after the mind-body-spirit complex has reawakened within the physical illusion. May we answer you further? A. Inaudible. Latwii. I am Latwii. My sister, your terminology is beautifully precise. The calmness is resultant from the vibration experience during the learning process. The confusion resultant from the fact that the subconscious was the major recipient of the educational process. We would also add that there is a further range of dreams that are generally referred to as nightmares among your race. These, in this same manner, may be the result of an entertainment of the mind, or the result of an unpolarized individual requesting contact with a polarized entity whose vibrations they rapidly find very uncomfortable. May we answer you further? A. Inaudible. Latwii. I am Latwii. My sister, we would suggest that the most effective manner within which one may receive communication that is consciously requested would be through the active use of the conscious mind in the area of meditation. The function of sleep, in part, is to assist those who do not have adequate control of the conscious mind to receive such communication. This is a facet of the sleep tool which you may desire to use, but we have found that the conscious, awake, mental meditation state is a much more precise form of communication and reception, and we would highly recommend its usage for conscious calling. May we answer you further? A. Inaudible. Latwii. As always, my sister, we are grateful to be of service to one such as yourself. Is there another question that we may answer? I am Latwii. It seems that either the questions have been sufficiently answered, or the previous discussion has managed to instill the dream state in all present. In either case, we shall consider our service to be completed at this point in time, and shall communicate to you that we look forward to a further opportunity to be of service to you at any time, just as all members of the Confederation would offer. My friends, in the love and the light of our Creator, we bid you Adonai. I am Latwii.
Go forth then, rejoicing in the power and the peace of the one infinite Creator.